Okay, so I'll start with the first question then.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became interested in the topic of mental health?
Okay. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Rohit Gupta, and I got involved with mental health about 9, 10 years back. As I lost my dad to dementia, and so it was a tough run for the family, right? The entire family, my brother and mine, and we are educated, we have resources, but we did not focus on our own mental health, right? And what dementia does, or what Alzheimer does to families, not the person who is actually suffering from it, but people who take care of the patient themselves, right?
Hmm.
So these issues are long lasting. It impacts marriages. A lot of marriages have been broken as you take care of your parents, right? Because it puts a lot of strain on the family, both mentally, physically, and financially, depending on where you are, right? And
Hmm.
dealing with different agencies in your state, whichever state you are in, Medicare, Medicaid, your local resources from your township, working through that process is also a gut wrenching process, right?
Hmm.
It is not easy. This is something that states and federal government should make it easy, but given the demand and where we live and how we live in our society, it has become more difficult. So
Hmm.
what we dealt with, now it's even more difficult to get access to Medicaid and resources. So that was started it. So we suffered from our family point of view, as I said. We didn't realize that as we went through the notions of taking care of dad, right? And my mom also suffered as a partner who was sick, right? But we never went out and asked those questions, right? We didn't know what to ask. We didn't even bother asking. Forget what to know ask, but we didn't even bother asking, right? That's
Hmm.
just something that triggered me as a person to hey, let's educate people, right?
Hmm.
To
Yeah.
have those touch points where you are educated, you have financial stability, but you still need to get help, right? And
Hmm.
to know when to get help, right? So
Hmm.
what are those triggers that you should look into where it says, hey, stop, you need help,
Hmm.
right? And you cannot do it yourself, even though. So does that answer your question, or I can keep talking
Yes.
on this for hours.
Yes, it answers the question, definitely. I know
Okay,
one of the main issues people talk about is that like families don't know how to start the conversation on mental health
correct,
or even like
correct.
when to start that conversation.
Correct, correct. And then the best way to do that is to talk about this day and night, right? So it
Hmm.
becomes a normal topic to talk about. It does not become a topic which is what do you call it? It becomes a prior, right? It's not, it becomes a
Hmm.
stigma. Hey, you want to talk about mental health? Hey, get over it. You'll be fine. Just sleep it off. Go out with your friends. Go have a drink. Just make some trips. Go out to have a trip. Go family trip for it. Just change your scene, you'll be fine, right?
Hmm.
So those type of things blocks people to moving forward. But that being said, you have to focus on yourself as well, right? And what is
Yes.
stopping you from moving forward on a day-to-day basis, doing your daily tasks, right? For
Hmm.
minor tasks, not even major tasks, right? You're not trying to
Hmm.
solve world problems. You're just trying to type an email to your professional. You're like typing an email which should take about 5, 10 minutes to write. Now it's taking 35, 40 minutes to write because
Hmm.
your head is not clear, right? You can't think through easy things, right? And these are the triggers that people should look into. Hey, look, where is my mind? What am I thinking? What is sitting here, right? I
Hmm.
can see what's in front of me, right? But what is
Yeah.
sitting behind me? What is sitting inside of this head, right? And that is a focus that people need to look at. Those are triggers that we never looked at, right?
Yes.
I I bypassed all those triggers, right? As a person, as a family, as a father, as a son, as a husband, right? Bypassed all these triggers. We were so involved in dealing with the situation, right?
Hmm.
So there are many families out there that are suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's and different stages of this disease, right? they
Hmm.
they forget to look at these triggers because they're so involved in taking care of the patient.
Yes.
So again, the more we talk about it, the more people like you stand up at your age, which is seriously outstanding, right?
Thank
And not you're the first one. I talk about mental health all the time. I'm talking the first one. How old are you? 15, 14? How old are you?
I'm 16.
You're 16. So you're the first one.
Mhm.
In 9 years or 7 years or 8 years or so that I've been talking about mental health, you're the first kid that I'm talking to who's
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
passionate about mental health and especially about pandemic as well, right? So what pandemic has done to our society, right at the root level of our society, has been impacted by pandemic, right?
Yes.
And then the mental stress that has put on kids, forget adults, right? What I
Yes.
put on kids and how they deal with it, how my son dealt with it when he was stuck home and not being able to see his friends, not to do anything, not to collaborate and things the way he was able to do, right? Became a very troublesome, very troublesome, right?
Yes.
And then as a unit, how as unit meaning family, how the family is impacted by when the children are impacted by that psychological impact of isolation, right? So again, you ask the questions, I'll answer the questions. How about that? Let's stick to that.
The next one is, how did your culture and society impact your ability to deal with the issues that you were facing? Did you feel that your community helped support you or not?
Okay, so I'll answer two different questions, right? So I'll break it down to different questions. As a society, unfortunately, Asian society, mental health is still not being discussed openly, right? It's
Mhm.
still considered get over it. You'll
Mhm.
get better. Talk to your friends. Go get a drink. As I said before, right? We are
Mhm.
still not, as a society or as a community, we are still not talking about it. Even though
Mhm.
so much has happened before pandemic, during pandemic, and now after pandemic. We are now, hopefully, we're after pandemic now, right?
Mhm.
People still don't want to talk about it, right? They're still very
Yes.
secluded. They're very private about that. Hey, I can handle this myself.
Mhm.
This is my child, or this is my parent, or this is myself. I can go. I can deal with it
Mhm.
because I have so much responsibility. I can handle it.
Mhm.
Answer is no, you cannot.
Yes.
It's a very flat, straight answer to that. No, you
Yes.
cannot, right? And a very blunt answer to that. No, you cannot, right? And you need to get help. When you see
Mhm.
those triggers, the triggers I mentioned, some of the triggers I mentioned before, you see those triggers, you need to go get help,
Yes.
right? So, and now the second part that the community helped me when I went through all this, or my family went through this, right? Absolutely, right? So you need to build a structure around you,
Mhm.
right? Structure meaning your friends, your family, your spouse, right? People, I talked about marriages being broken due to this big diseases, but
Mhm.
marriages are also saved as well
Mhm.
because of the spouses, right? Because the
Yes.
spouses stood up, male or female, doesn't matter. Your partner stood up
Mhm.
and understood you as a person as to how what you are going through, right? And try
Yes.
to help you as much as they can. And that's the biggest help you can get when your partner is standing next to you,
Yes.
right? Now, a partner could be anyone.
Mhm.
As a 16-year-old, your partner is your friend,
Yes.
right? Who stood by you, male or female, doesn't matter, right? One friend or two friends or four friends, doesn't matter. They stood by you. They
Mhm.
understood you as Nira, and that is it,
Mhm.
right? Whatever Nira is going through, they understood that. And back to you,
Yes.
the days they back to you, the day they fought with you, the day they misunderstood you, right? Because they don't understand where you're coming from or what's going on in your head, right? What you're feeling that particular day. But at the end of the day, hey, I know what Nira's going through.
Mhm.
I understand. I guess I was upset with her in the morning. Yes, I said a few things to her in the morning, but now I do understand who she is and why, what is happening to her, right? So
Hmm.
you need to have that structure around you
Yes.
where you have these people that can argue with you, that can fight with you, but at the end of the day, they love you who you are and will support you, right? I'm lucky enough to have that.
Hmm.
I'm very lucky. I consider myself one of the luckiest people in the world to have a group like that where I can tap into, right? Any given day, hey guys, my mind is just screwed up today,
Hmm.
right? Like I'm not thinking straight, right?
Yes.
So and the days where they gave me answers I don't want to hear because they were blunt about it, and the days where they sat down with me and then we had a nice beer and I was okay,
Hmm.
right? So again, you need to build that structure. So
Yes.
okay,
I know that mental health professionals often like discuss the need for a support system to help support you if you're going through anything with
correct,
mental health.
correct, correct. So I spoke to your dad a little bit about this, right? Which is NAMI, NAMI, right? Now
Hmm.
NAMI is national group. NAMI is in
Yes.
Florida. You're in Florida. NAMI is in New Jersey. I'm in New Jersey, right? So tap into those resources. NAMI has cultural resources also,
Hmm.
right? So you are an Indian, they have a South Asian group. They call it Samaj here in New
Hmm.
Jersey. So people who have language barriers,
Hmm.
right? You're a Spanish speaking person, you're Hindi or Gujarati speaking person, or you're Telugu or a Tamil speaking person, right? And you're a
Hmm.
French or different languages, so to speak, right?
Hmm.
They have those groups created where
Hmm.
you can actually go talk to someone in your own language, in your own culture, right? You don't need to speak in English. You don't need to speak to a person who does not speak your language, who does not
Hmm.
understand your culture, right? So look for these groups, and they are out there,
Hmm.
and tap into these resources, and they will help.
Yes, for sure. So my next question is, what role do you believe mental health stigma plays in the attitudes of communities like Asian American communities and other ones in responding to mental health crises?
Huge, right? And we are setting up programs. So we're working with people, with agencies that are going to specifically talk about stigma,
Hmm.
right? With the whole topic of that webinar or of that talk would be to how to stop stigma, how to help with stigma, how to remove stigma, right? What are
Hmm.
words? So I'm going to learn. I'm not an expert by any means, right?
Hmm.
So and what I will sit with these people and learn. Hey, you have done your research, right? And what did you find in your research? What do the survey says? What are the touch points in African American community or a South Asian community or a Chinese community or Indian community? You have done your research, right? So how do people react to that,
Hmm.
right? And then you take that knowledge and you spread that knowledge as much as you possible as you can, right? And
Hmm.
that's how you beat it. That's the only way to beat it is to create awareness programs, create educational programs, and continue talking about it, like what you're
Hmm.
doing, right? You do your Facebook, I see your Facebook all the time, like what you're talking about. Keep talking about it, keep repeating it. If it needs to be repeated 1,000 times, repeat it 1,000 times. Why?
Hmm.
Because of one person that you're trying to get to one person only. See, you have to
Hmm.
remember, right? You're not trying to reach 100 people here.
Hmm.
You're talking to 100 people, right? You're trying to
Yes.
reach that one person who needs that help, just one,
Yes.
right? So by you sending 100 times and that one person picked it up, oh, look, Dina mentioned this, that on that call, and she said it 4 times,
Hmm.
has some value to it. That means she's
Yes.
not that crazy. She may be crazy and she's driving me crazy, but she said that.
Hmm.
Does that hold water, right?
Yes.
And the answer is yes, because she said it 4 times. She's
Hmm.
not stupid, right? She said it 4 times.
Hmm.
And that's, as again, as I said, one person. Your goal is one person, one
Hmm.
at a time, right? So this is what I say from our Alliance, our part of Alliance Club. We say one smile at a time.
Hmm.
And you know what that means? Because if I
Yeah.
can make you smile today, oh, you had a horrendous day, whatever you did, right? It was a horrendous day that you had. You met me and I did something for you. or I said something to you, and that made you smile. My simple hello to you made you smile. That's it. That's all you needed.
Mhm.
That's all you needed. A simple
Yes.
hello. Because I cared about you as a person. I didn't care who you are and what you're going to do next. Nothing. I just cared because you're standing in front of me, you're a person, I'm going to say hello to a person. That's
Yes.
all. I valued your position the way it is, right? So
Mhm.
once you start doing that, people will talk, people will share. And this is what we're missing today. We
Mhm.
have forgotten how to value a person as to who they are and how they are, right?
Mhm.
We care about what they say, but what we forgot is to understand why they're saying that. It's
Mhm.
important to understand that, right? People can say things because they're upset or they disagreed with you for whatever reason, but do you understand why they said that?
Mhm.
Once you get into that level, it's very, very difficult. It's not easy, but once you start doing that, and at the very initial steps, you'll understand why this person is upset,
Yes.
right? And that will give that person room to explore, to talk, and explain, hey, this is what's going on with me.
Mhm.
And then if you can help, you help. So that's how you
Yes.
beat. That's how you beat the stigma. One is research. Second is how you treat people,
Mhm.
right? Make them open up. And if
Yes.
you can do that, we'll remove stigma in the society. We will do that day at a time, moment at a time, but we'll continue doing it.
Yes. Definitely. Another one of my questions was, I know we already touched on some of the illnesses in your family that helped contribute to your mental health issues, but were there any other factors that helped contribute to them, and how were you impacted by them?
Okay. So initially was dementia, and then it created a lot of issues in the family. Recently, about 3 years back, I lost my job, or 2 years back. Um, Again, as I said, been employed all my life, good job, good money, just bought a house, and lost my job. Right, and not able to find a job right away. That created a lot of anxiety, a lot of anxiety attacks. I had anxiety attacks, and couldn't write an email. So I give the example I gave you. By the way, that happened to me.
Mhm.
Right? An email that should take 5-10 minutes was taking about an hour, and it was still came out garbage.
Mhm.
Even after an hour, it wasn't garbage. Right? Why? Because this was not straight.
Mhm.
I was not thinking through. Right? So now I learned. See,
Mhm.
I got smart. Right?
Yes.
I spoke to my wife right away. Hey, look, this is what happened to me. This is what's happening to me. Right? I'm getting angry. I'm getting anxious. I can't focus. My voice is going up on the small little things. Right? I can't make a mistake. If I make a one mistake, the whole world will fall apart. Right? All those
Mhm.
things are happening to me. Right? I spoke to
Mhm.
her. We got help
Mhm.
right away. Right away, I spoke to the counselor. I had 4 sessions with her, right, which calm my
Mhm.
mind because I know what I'm doing, but to hear from the person. So this is what the person also important statement here. I know I'm smart, right?
Mhm.
Everyone is. I know what she's gonna say. I can do that. Guess
Mhm.
what? You don't know.
Yes.
Okay, you don't know, right? Because when she was talking to me, I said that the first meeting I had with her. Oh, I know this. Why are you telling me this? Right? I'm a
Mhm.
smart guy. I mean, I went to college and I have a family. What are you talking about? Why are you repeating? I'm paying you all this money for this,
Mhm.
right? And she came back saying, okay, do you know this? You know what this exercise is about? You know what exercise is called? You know what this exercise do to you? You know how to breathe like this? So I got, no,
Mhm.
no, and no, right?
Yeah.
How do you manage your breath that calms you from internally,
Mhm.
Well, I had no idea, right? So it's not about what she was saying, but what she was not saying,
Mhm.
right? It's this what she was telling me techniques, how to manage myself. And
Yes.
that was much more important than actual lectures that she was giving me. And that's you got to sometimes you got to ignore the words and pay attention to exactly what it meant, right? So that's important to people to understand. Yes, like if you go to a psychiatrist for help, there are times where there will be repetitious statements that are going to come out, right? Have
Mhm.
patience. Have patience with them. They're trying to understand you and then
Mhm.
give you the tools that you need to manage yourself,
Mhm.
right? That's what happened with me. And so I'm okay. I'm much better now. I still get anxious here and there. I mean, I'm not over 100%, right? But I know what's going on with me. I keep a touch on me where so
Yeah.
it doesn't get repeated, right? Those instances don't get because it scared me more than it scared my wife,
Mhm.
right? I was a different person, so and I don't like that person,
Mhm.
right? So
Okay. So my next question was, how did you work through these issues and come to realize what was correct and what was not in the way that you were dealing with this tremendous mental and emotional burden that you were going through in life?
getting help, talking to people, talking to my brother. He's
Mhm.
another. So I have two backbones. People have one, right? I have two,
Mhm.
right? One is my wife, right? Her name
Mhm.
is Ekta, right? And second one is my brother, right? So I these are my like this.
Mhm.
So they keep me straight, right? And and my friends, as I mentioned before, right? So I have a
Mhm.
good group of friends
Mhm.
who are always there for me, right? So I
Mhm.
relied on them. I spoke to them, and I mentioned that, hey, where this is where I am. This is what's going on in my head. This is I'm getting this help. Right? They were ready to listen to me. They just heard me. They let me get it out,
Mhm.
right? And that helped me to get back on track. That somebody is there to understand who I am, where I am, and not judging me as what's going on, right?
Mhm.
So that one word is also very important. People don't judge each other,
Yes.
right? There is nothing to judge. I have no idea who you are, the way you are, why you're doing this. I cannot judge you.
Mhm.
I have
Yes.
no right to judge you. If I can help you, I will help you. If I cannot help you, I will move away from the situation.
Mhm.
But I cannot judge you,
Yes.
right? It's very important for people to understand that. If you cannot help, move away.
Yes.
Please don't judge the person who is suffering.
Yes.
Okay? Very, very important. So, and unfortunately, that's exactly what we do,
Yes.
right? So, important. So
Yes.
that's what helped me. Mike, again, to answer your question, support group. Have your support group.
I know you mentioned that getting help helped you work through these issues. So that brings me to the question of when do you feel it's important to reach out for help and how do you know you need to?
Good question. I'll repeat what I said before, right? And which is thank you for asking again, so people in the audience can hear this again, right? Which is your trigger points. What changed in your behavior,
Mm-hmm.
right? You were doing this in this amount of time, whatever that task was, right? Now that's taking this long. Something
Mm-hmm.
changed. This simple task became a complex task. What changed? I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying everything that happens becomes a mental issue, right? I'm not. No, no way, right? No way I'm saying that. What I'm saying is these are the triggers. Hey, what is changing in me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why am I taking more time to do things that were taking less time to do? Why am I getting so angry? Why am I getting so annoyed? I
Mm-hmm.
need to step back and realize myself. Hey, take a look at me. Am I okay?
Mm-hmm.
Am I okay? So if the answer is no, I'm not okay. Then
Yes.
I need to go get help, right? But
Yes.
if I'm okay, honestly, if I'm okay, not just okay because I want to avoid everything else, right? But honestly, if I'm okay, then I'm okay because hey, the pressure came for that one day, and I gotta, you know, got mixed up a little bit. It's okay. Things happen in life.
Mhm.
But there's a continuation of that cycle, then that's a problem,
Yes.
right? And that's what people need to trigger. They take a look at that. That's what
Yes.
you need to know. Hey, look, I need to go get help,
Yes.
and maybe
Definitely.
not, and maybe nothing, right? And maybe it come out to be absolutely nothing, right? Hey,
Mhm.
doctor will come back, say, no, you're okay. You just had a little bit of pressure, and do some couple of breathing exercises. You'll be fine. You don't need
Mhm.
medications. You don't need anything else. You don't need to do any more sessions. You just need to do this. Go see a doctor. Go talk to your physician. Start with your
Mhm.
physician, right? And then physicians are pretty good nowadays. They can figure it out also. Before you're going
Mhm.
to make a bigger steps, just talk to your physician.
Yes. What do you believe are some healthy coping mechanisms for mental health issues such as anxiety or depression?
Who I don't know about depression. I would not even mention in that area because I'm not being there, right?
Mhm.
But the anxiety is talk it out, slow
Okay.
down, slow down. Very hard to say, very easy to say, sorry, very hard to do, right?
Mhm.
But learn to slow down, right?
Mhm.
And focus on yourself, focus on a bigger goal of your life. What is the bigger goal? So sometimes you gotta let go things. Like
Mhm.
I'll give you my example. People will say, "Hey, he's talking. He's not giving examples." Right? I'll give you my example. So I got a job offer. It was a good offer job, but for some reason it was not working out for me. Right? It created a
Mhm.
lot of anxiety for me, a lot of pressure for me that was not used to that pressure. Right? And again, for a different environment, I put in a different box, so to speak. It was like a square peg in a round circle. Right?
Mhm.
And that was the situation. So I was not able to manage that properly,
Mhm.
right? And how to put a square in a circle was not happening for me,
Mhm.
right? And that created anxiety attacks for me because, as I said, there were physical challenges. We bought a house, and we need the money, and there's financial constraints, so everything came together.
Mhm.
Right now, I had a choice to continue with that, right? Continue trying to push that square into a circle, right? I could have done
Mhm.
that, right? But this is where your support system comes in. my,
Mhm.
my, my two backbones I mentioned, my wife and my brother, right? I
Mhm.
spoke to them. Hey, we are trying to do this. We're putting a square in a circle.
Mhm.
They stop. Don't do that. Leave the job. Find another one. And that's exactly what happened.
Mhm.
I left that job. And by doing that, I got myself back. Could that
Mhm.
be? So I figured out what was the reason why I was getting into that position or put me in that box to start, right? And I
Mhm.
got out of that, and I got myself out of that box. Why? Because I had the support system,
Yes.
right? And I was able to come out of that box. And now I'm employed again. I have a decent, good job, right? I enjoy what I do, right? No job is easy, right? But I
Mhm.
enjoy what I do, right?
Yes.
And that's when the life continues.
Yes.
So that's as simple as that. No, it's not that as simple as that. It's difficult.
Yes.
It's very difficult to do, right? The very tough calls. We can talk about this for hours, but people who are in this situation, sometimes it's very, very hard to make that call. But
Yes.
when you have a support system, it helps you make that call,
Yes.
right? Right. So,
I know you mentioned that your family didn't know how to ask the right questions. So, when you first started noticing signs of any mental health issues, did you try to ignore it or maybe avoid it at first?
oh yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely, right? We can handle it.
Mhm.
We are educated. I earn,
Yes.
both of us, my brother, his wife earn, I earn, we all earn. We know
Yes.
what to do. We can handle this. We'll get over this. Things happen in life. So this is our sad part of life. We'll manage it, right? And we
Yes.
did. And we did. We made this long list of errors doing it, but we did it.
Yes.
We did it. So, but yeah, again, were we smart? No. Now we're looking back at it. We were not smart at it.
Mhm. My next question is, who do you recommend to for reaching out if they experience any mental health issues? I know you mentioned NAMI is a good resource to
Good,
find that.
correct. So that's one. So every county, every township has programs for mental health, right?
Hmm.
So one good thing that came out of pandemic, one good thing other than the losses that we have incurred and for now and for life from pandemic is the lens on mental health,
Hmm.
right? So pandemic, as I said, that one minute thing or big thing came out of pandemic was lens on mental health. So
Hmm.
people are aware of this now, right?
Yes.
So what you started because of pandemic and what it did to the kids and the isolation that came with it and the family pressures that came in the family and then impacting the kids from that, right? That's how you
Yes.
start looking at this. So let's use this vehicle. Now we have it,
Yes.
right? I'll be selfish here, and some people will come back and who watches them come back and tell me, "Hey, you're wrong," right? And I'm okay.
Hmm.
Yes, I'm wrong, but I'm right as well,
Hmm.
right? I'm wholeheartedly wrong because mental health has been going on for 100 years,
Yes.
right? But nobody paid attention to it, or we didn't pay enough attention to it.
Hmm.
And now all of a sudden, every single person wants to talk about mental health. Every single official wants to talk about mental health, but are they doing their job and doing right? I don't know. Some are not, right?
Hmm.
But now we have that vehicle that we can push and
Hmm.
push hard, right? Let's
Yes.
use it. Let's use it. Let's
Yes.
take advantage of it, right?
Yes.
And
For
that's how you
sure.
do it. Yeah, and that's how you do it. Keep talking, keep talking, keep talking, keep doing awareness sessions, keep educating people, keep sharing information, and it will help.
Yes. I know you mentioned the pandemic just now, so I was wondering
Mhm.
how you've seen the impact of mental and emotional issues on kids' development and education during the pandemic, and how have you seen the impact of the pandemic on kids' mental and emotional well-being as well?
Hmm, tough one. Because I'll tell you this. Looking at our own son, he did well because we were home with him, right?
Hmm.
And we made sure that he was stable, that he got resources, that he was able to communicate with his friends, that he was able to spend some time with his friends, not just the school, but he had a group around,
Hmm.
right? Whether they were 6 feet away or 10 feet away or 15 feet away, right, from him, but they had a group in the community we live in. So we were
Hmm.
lucky enough in that where we didn't see major impact for our own son. Now, can I talk about overall society? What we have seen during what we were offering free yoga sessions through our Lions Club, right?
Hmm.
This is before pandemic, not during pandemic. What unfortunately what happens is if you live in a very aggressive community where kids have to approach that 98% or 100%, they need to be involved in 1,000 classes because the college is looking for that. There's a lot of pressure on kids to reach that maximum that they can reach,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
that's where we have seen kids breaking down,
Hmm.
right? And we did see that when, as I said, we were offering free yoga classes through our club, right? And we had a couple of kids that came. One was very aggressive,
Hmm.
right? And because the parent was very aggressive, right?
Hmm.
This person has already attended the class. Your class was at 9:30 in the morning, and
Hmm.
this person already has done two classes in the morning on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Two already done
Yeah.
at night, and this is 9:30, and she was half asleep. This girl was.
Yeah.
This person was half asleep. Okay, and so she was aggravated. Of course, she was aggravated, right? And she had three more things to do that Saturday
Hmm.
after the yoga,
Wow.
right? Right. So, and then the flip side of that was other kid who completely mentally broke down
Hmm.
because of the pressures of the school. He was starting again.
Yes.
So one person was going like this, other person was like this,
Yes.
right? So we saw both of them within 10, 15 minutes apart.
Hmm.
So again, it is what it is. Sadly, this is the society we live in. Everybody wants to compete. We want to reach to our maximum, and then how do you reach that maximum? It's a very
Yes.
fine line. It's a very fine line.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and then kids sometimes pay the price. Sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then my last question is, how do you believe we should be encouraging not only teens, but also adults and others to feel comfortable about seeking help and assistance when it's needed?
Again, going back to awareness,
Mm-hmm.
right? The only way to for people to understand and to feel comfortable is to talk about mental health as much
Yes.
as we can, right? Uh, and and then start sharing resources. Like for example, for my Lions Club, as I said, mentioned, I belong to a Lions Club, Lions International. We'll talk about that if you give me 2 minutes afterwards. I'll talk
Oh,
about that,
yes.
right? And we are creating programs or webinars where we will share with not within the Lions community of New Jersey, but it's a webinar, right? Anybody can attend.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Anybody in the world can attend those webinars, right? And we'll make sure that this is available to everyone. When we will have
Yes.
the experts come online, not us. We may ask the questions, but we'll have experts answer those questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who are in the field of autism or depression or anxiety. And these are the kids, people that are dealing with kids day in, day out, right? People dealing with the adult community day in, day out, right? So we'll have these people on call
Mm-hmm.
who will talk about that. We are also in process of creating a resource sheet for New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
In New Jersey, so we're creating a resource sheet in New Jersey. What is available for people to look at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was what we want as a club point of view is if you come to our website, which we're creating, right? I want to give you this page, just one simple page, right, which has all these numbers listed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Call this, call that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to NAMI page, nami.org, it will be whatever the Florida link is. I can send you that. I will
Mm-hmm.
look it up. I will send it to you, right? And I'm sure they have the same thing there already,
Yes.
right? They will. NAMI is very good in what they do, and they will have the resource sheet available to people to just go click that number.
Yes.
Somebody's on the other line will answer you, right? And I'll go through that. Tsunami provides all these mental assistance
Mm-hmm.
to the various programs that they have, right? We don't need to create the wheel. So remember, so all you're doing is making sure people get to the right resource, right?
Yes.
Now, they can use you as a medium to get there, meaning your page, your Instagram page or your web page, whatever you have, whatever your landing page is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to even get involved day-to-day basis, but you can, hey, this is information, you need help, go call them,
Yes.
right? And this is, and then use simple stuff, nothing complicated. Here's a list of numbers, go call,
Yes.
right? But it's important. It's important to get it out there and then so people can call.
Yes. It definitely
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.